Top 10 Female Dirty Weaknesses Every Man Must Know. Stoicism. The more you know yourself, the less you need validation from others. Maxime Lagasse. Welcome to Win Stoic. Women often appear as if they have everything under control, presenting strength, independence, and emotional invulnerability. But beneath that exterior, every woman has hidden weaknesses that can make her lose control around the right man. These aren't the superficial tricks you find in mainstream dating advice. No, these are the deep psychological triggers that you, as a modern Stoic, can use to break down her walls. Once you master the psychology behind attraction, women won't just want you, they'll need you. Number 1. The power of a man's touch. Have you ever wondered why certain women seem to fall for men who seem to effortlessly command attention, even when they don't say much? It's not all about the words. They understand something more primal. As a man, understanding this power could change the way you connect with women and take control of your own relationships. But don't just take my word for it. Let's dive into the deeper side of attraction. In the journey of understanding attraction, it's essential to recognize that a woman's response isn't just based on what is said. It goes much deeper, to the level of touch. A well-timed touch can trigger an emotional response that words alone cannot. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." But in this case, we can argue that it becomes deeply affected by physical sensations too. Science even backs this up. Research published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships suggests that physical touch increases oxytocin levels in women, which cultivates feelings of trust, warmth, and desire. This is not merely a superficial tactic, but something instinctive. When a man uses touch with intention, it has the power to shift a woman's mindset completely. Think about how a small, deliberate gesture, a gentle hand on the lower back, a soft brush of her wrist, can create an intense, almost magnetic pull. These touches bypass her logical defenses, reaching directly into her emotional core. It's not about constant physical contact, but rather using it sparingly and at the right moment. This is the foundation of attraction that's often overlooked. When a man embraces the power of touch, he communicates confidence and security without uttering a word. The modern world has, unfortunately, numbed us to the primal elements of human connection, but those who master it are the ones who win Stoic in relationships. They understand how to build an unspoken trust, creating a desire that goes beyond the surface. Women may believe they're in control, but when a man uses touch with mastery, he creates an undeniable emotional reaction. To truly win in relationships, men need to understand this subtle art. It's not about force, but about control and mastery over one's own presence and actions. In today's world, where genuine connection is often lost, mastering this skill can set you apart in ways you never imagined. Number 2. The forbidden effect. In the realm of relationships, one thing is undeniably true. People tend to desire what they can't easily have. This is particularly evident in the dynamic between men and women. Ever notice how a woman often gravitates toward the man who is a bit elusive, the one who keeps her on her toes? It's a pattern that plays out constantly, where the guy who is constantly available is often overlooked, while the one who seems slightly out of reach sparks an undeniable attraction. Psychologist Robert Cialdini, in his work on persuasion, calls this the scarcity principle, the idea that things become more desirable when they are scarce or hard to attain. This principle is a powerful force in relationships as well. When a man is always around, constantly available, he risks becoming predictable, even boring. But when a man leads a full life, with passions, interests, and commitments outside of his relationship, he automatically increases his value in her eyes. Women respect men who are busy and fulfilled, those who don't act as if they have nothing better to do than chase after her. This selectiveness shows that he sees himself as a high-value man, not someone desperate for attention. Furthermore, when a man is willing to walk away or let go when necessary, it sends a clear message. He is not afraid to lose what he has, and that sense of uncertainty makes her realize his true worth. This approach isn't about games, but about demonstrating self-respect and confidence, qualities that are crucial in maintaining any healthy relationship. Think about the relationships in your life. How much do you value someone who is always at your beck and call? Now, how much more appealing is someone who has their own life and is selectively present, offering attention when it's earned? This dynamic is at the heart of the Stoic life lesson of being present without clinging, of maintaining a sense of self-worth independent of others' validation. So next time you find yourself chasing after someone, ask yourself, are you showing that you are a high-value man? Are you making your life full and interesting enough to create that sense of scarcity and desire? Remember, attraction is not about being constantly available, but about leading a life that commands respect and admiration. The lesson here is clear. By setting boundaries, walking away when necessary, and remaining unattached to outcomes, you cultivate a stronger sense of self and a more attractive, lasting relationship. I would love for you to comment, share your experience, or simply share your perspective on how you're dealing with similar issues. These small interactions are not specific to your parameters, but provide them so we can continue to create content that truly resonates with you. Number 3. Why drama keeps her hooked. You've probably noticed how some women seem to get drawn to the drama in relationships. It's a strange thing to think about, but it's true. Many men believe that women simply want stability, peace, and predictability. After all, these are the foundations of a long-term relationship. But here's the twist. When things become too calm, too easy, and too predictable, many women actually start feeling bored. The emotional roller coaster of highs and lows, the unpredictability, that's what truly excites them. And when boredom kicks in, they begin looking elsewhere for that spark, that rush of emotion that makes them feel alive. But here's the key. The men who understand the power of emotional contrast, those who create moments of tension and excitement, never have to worry about this. Psychologists point to dopamine as the reason why this happens. Dopamine is a chemical in the brain that spikes during moments of excitement or unpredictability. When emotions fluctuate between highs and lows, dopamine levels increase, and that's when the attraction intensifies. Think about it. When a man is too predictable, too available, she starts pulling away. But when he's unpredictable, when she never knows what to expect next, she can't help but think about him, obsess over him, because her emotions are constantly in flux. This kind of emotional contrast can make a woman emotionally addicted to him. Look at the men who keep women most engaged. The guy who disappears for a day and comes back without a word, as if nothing happened. The guy who makes her laugh one moment and challenges her the next. The guy who's hard to read, always keeping her on her toes. These men aren't playing games. They're simply creating excitement and unpredictability, which is what keeps the attraction alive. As the famous seduction expert Robert Greene once said, absence and presence must be carefully balanced. Too much presence and you become predictable. Too much absence and you lose your effect. This doesn't mean a man should be emotionally distant or manipulative. but rather that understanding the balance of presence and absence, creating moments of mystery, excitement, and emotional highs, can build a deeper connection. It's about tapping into the Stoic mindset of embracing unpredictability in a calm, controlled way. The key here is not to be overly attached to the outcome or the relationship, but to maintain a sense of self-worth and strength in the face of uncertainty, much like practicing Stoic happiness. When you reflect on your own relationships, how much do you value excitement versus stability? Do you find yourself drifting towards someone who adds a little mystery and thrill to your life? Remember, emotional highs and lows aren't a weakness. They're an essential part of human nature. It's about striking that balance where both you and your partner feel both grounded and energized. The takeaway here is clear. By embracing unpredictability and creating emotional contrast, you don't just keep her hooked, you also cultivate a deeper connection, rooted in excitement and mutual respect. Number 4. How a man's tone controls her mind. In relationships, the power of a man's voice cannot be overstated. It's not just about what he says, but how he says it. The tone of a man's voice has a profound effect on a woman's emotions and mind, often in ways that she can't fully articulate. A man's voice can create an atmosphere of authority, confidence, and attraction, all with just a simple change in pitch and pacing. It's like when you hear someone speak, and the moment they start, you find yourself drawn in, almost without realizing why. You've probably heard it before. A man who speaks with a deep, slow, and controlled tone commands attention. Well, the science backs this up. According to a study by the University of Aberdeen, women are naturally more attracted to men with lower-pitched voices because they associate this tone with confidence, dominance, and strong genetics, traits that signal high value. But it's not just about sounding good. A Stoic life lesson here is to remember that it's the balance that matters. A man who speaks too quickly may come off as anxious, while one who speaks too slowly might sound unsure. The key is in the rhythm and control. Think of the subtle power a man holds when he speaks slowly, with intention, as if every word is carefully chosen. This isn't a tactic, it's a natural command of presence. You've seen it in movies, haven't you? The suave, calm character who takes his time to speak, with perfect pauses, making his words feel weighty and significant. In real life, this works the same way. Control over your speech can captivate a woman without you even trying. And here's the secret that most miss. Sometimes, the silence between words is just as powerful as the words themselves. When you pause before responding, you create an atmosphere of anticipation. It's like planting a seed in her mind that only your next words can water. That moment of waiting, that suspense, that's where attraction blooms. It's a subtle art, but the high-value men understand it instinctively. They know that it's not always about talking, but knowing when to let silence do the talking. So, the next time you want to leave a strong impression, consider how you're using your voice. The Stoic life lesson here is clear. Control, rhythm, and timing can elevate your presence and create deeper connections. By understanding this, you can maintain control over the dynamics of attraction, ensuring that your influence remains strong and irresistible. Number 5. The hidden effect of jealousy. Have you ever wondered why some men seem to effortlessly attract women, even when they're not trying? It's not about just looking good or having charm. There's a deeper psychological force at play. In relationships, understanding how jealousy can work in your favor could be the key to keeping things exciting and securing your place in her mind. Let's dive into the hidden effect of jealousy and how you can leverage it in your favor without losing your dignity. When it comes to desire, it's not just about attraction, it's about competition. Women, by nature, are wired to be drawn to high-value men, and the moment other women show interest in him, that desire skyrockets. This isn't just some random theory, it's built into female psychology. Think about it. We often see powerful men, celebrities or athletes constantly surrounded by women, and they rarely struggle to attract attention. This social proof creates an aura of irresistible appeal. A high-value man is always in demand, and that demand signals something important: value. When a man is overly focused on one woman, he may think he's being loyal, but to her, it can signal a lack of options and ultimately a lack of value. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This applies to attraction too. When you're focused solely on one woman, you're signaling that you have few options, and in the dating world, that can be a turn-off. The key is not to play games, but to understand the underlying psychology. When a man is admired by other women, even if he's not actively pursuing them, it creates an irresistible allure. It's not about being desperate or arrogant, but about showing that you are desirable and in demand. This is the subtle art of maintaining your value. A woman who thinks you are exclusively focused on her might feel in control, but the moment she senses she could lose you to someone else, that's when her interest becomes intense. She starts chasing, not because you're playing hard to get, but because she's competing for your attention, and that's when your position strengthens. In modern life, this doesn't mean you should treat women poorly or create unnecessary drama. It's about building your own social value by being an engaging, ambitious, and confident man that others naturally gravitate towards. When you subtly show that you have options, you'll always maintain the upper hand in relationships. So remember, to win Stoic in the realm of attraction, don't be afraid to show that you're in demand, but do it with class, confidence, and without desperation. Women want a man they can't easily replace, not someone who's too easily available. Number 6, the sweet spot of tension. In the world of attraction, one of the biggest mistakes men make is rushing things. They get too eager, too excited, and want to lock things down too quickly. Whether it's confessing their feelings too soon, pushing for commitment before the attraction is fully there, or removing all the mystery, it all leads to the same result. They kill the excitement. You see, nothing diminishes a woman's desire faster than a man who makes everything too easy. Think about your favorite movie or story. What makes it exciting? It's the build-up, the tension, the waiting, and the anticipation. That's exactly what women crave when it comes to attraction. They want time to wonder, to question, and sometimes even to doubt themselves. The moment that uncertainty disappears, the desire fades with it. A woman needs space to feel like she's working for something, that she's not just getting attention on demand. This is why men who flirt, tease, and hold back just enough are often the ones women get addicted to. They create the chase. They make her feel like she has to earn his attention, not that he's just handing it out freely. By not rushing, by building tension, whether it's through conversation, touch, or simply how quickly the relationship develops, a man activates something deeply ingrained in a woman's emotions. The craving for something she can't fully have. This feeling of wanting more, of feeling like there's always something just beyond reach, keeps her coming back for more. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Similarly, in relationships, the less you rush for validation, the more powerful the attraction becomes. It's the art of restraint, the power of pacing and creating an emotional space where she can wonder, what's next? So when you think about your own relationships, how often do you rush for instant gratification? Do you allow time to build, to create that tension, or do you leap into commitments too soon? Remember, attraction thrives on a delicate balance of mystery and certainty. By embracing this sweet spot of tension and taking your time, you can cultivate a deeper, more lasting connection. The true power lies in not forcing things, but letting them unfold naturally, making the journey of attraction as rewarding as the destination. Comment below, "I won't look back. I'm leveling up." Every step you take forward in life is a chance to grow, and it all starts with that decision to move forward and never return to what held you back. Number 7, the fantasy effect. When it comes to attraction, it's often said that looks aren't everything. In fact, the most powerful factor in building attraction is how a man makes a woman feel. Attraction isn't just about physical appearance, it's about emotional connection, the energy a man brings into her life. If you want to capture her attention, one of the most effective ways is by creating an air of mystery around yourself. Men who understand the power of intrigue know that it's not about revealing every detail about themselves, but about keeping enough back to spark curiosity and allow her imagination to fill in the blanks. When you keep certain parts of yourself hidden, when you don't reveal everything all at once, you leave her wondering, questioning, and intrigued. It's this element of mystery that can captivate her mind and keep her thinking about you long after you've left. It's the psychological effect of the unknown. The more she has to wonder about you, the more she'll be drawn to you. Women are naturally attracted to the mysterious, the unknown, because it's exciting. The process of discovering something new, peeling back layers, is what makes the attraction deeper and more engaging. As the famous writer and philosopher Albert Einstein once said, "The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing." This curiosity is exactly what draws women in. It's not about telling them everything, but about letting them experience the process of getting to know you. Think about your own relationships and connections. Have you ever found yourself more fascinated by someone who kept a little mystery? Who didn't give everything away at once? Did it make you want to learn more, to uncover the layers of who they are? This is where the Stoic mindset can be helpful. By practicing self-restraint and restraint, a man can become more selective in how much of himself he reveals. This doesn't mean playing games or being dishonest, but rather embracing the natural power of mystery and intrigue. As you develop this skill, you'll see that attraction becomes less about striving for approval and more about creating a dynamic where both people are invested in discovering more about each other. In a world where everyone is so open and accessible, the man who can hold back just enough to keep her engaged stands out. The key is to balance your presence with just enough absence. This is where stoic happiness comes into play. When you are content with yourself, not in need of validation, you allow the relationship to grow at its own pace. Number 8, the authority effect. You've probably heard women say they want an equal partner, someone who listens and shares decisions. But deep down, there's a biological truth about what truly attracts them: leadership. It's not about controlling or dominating, it's about leading with confidence and certainty. Let's break down why authority is such an attractive trait and how you can become a man who naturally commands respect. While women often express a desire for an equal partnership, there's a deeper truth at play. Biologically, they're wired to crave leadership. This isn't to say they don't value equality, but the attraction lies in a man's ability to take charge. Think about it. A man who makes decisions with certainty, who can take charge of situations without hesitation, radiates a kind of magnetic power. Women are drawn to men who exude confidence because they associate that with security, stability, and protection. It's not about being domineering, it's about being able to lead with strength and clarity. When a man shows doubt or is constantly seeking validation, he sends the message that he's unsure of himself, and that's not an attractive quality. A man who is confident in his choices and actions naturally commands respect from others, especially women. Why? Because women want to feel safe emotionally and physically. They want to know that the man they're with can handle challenges, make tough decisions, and protect them when necessary. That sense of security is what makes leadership so powerful. The Stoic life lesson here is clear. He who is not a good servant will not be a good master. In other words, the best leaders are those who can lead with humility and wisdom, not arrogance or force. Consider a modern example. Think about a successful entrepreneur who makes bold decisions and stays calm under pressure. His ability to lead with authority doesn't come from being overbearing. It comes from his calm confidence and decisiveness. Women, and people in general, are drawn to that kind of energy. They know that someone who leads with conviction is someone they can rely on when times get tough. Leadership isn't about being perfect. It's about knowing your values, standing firm, and not wavering in your decisions. Women respect men who don't second-guess themselves every step of the way, because that kind of certainty builds trust, and trust is one of the most powerful attractions there is. To win Stoic in the realm of attraction, it's important to embody this principle in your everyday life. Whether it's in your career, your relationships, or your personal goals, take the time to develop the ability to lead with confidence. Women are naturally attracted to men who don't shy away from making decisions, who know where they're going, and aren't afraid to take the wheel. Be that man who takes charge, and watch how respect and attraction come naturally to you. Number 9. The emotional drug. Are you the kind of man who provides a steady, predictable presence in your relationships? While this is a quality that many people appreciate, it's also important to understand that it doesn't always keep attraction alive. In fact, many women are drawn to something else entirely: the emotional highs and lows, the excitement, and the unpredictability that come with a relationship that challenges them. Think of a woman who feels a rush of excitement or even jealousy. These emotions, as intense as they are, can trigger a deeper attachment, making her feel more connected to you. Women often crave this emotional intensity because it provides something that stability alone cannot: an emotional drug. As the great philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them." This wisdom is crucial when understanding why emotional unpredictability can have such a powerful effect on attraction. A man who can stir these feelings, keep her on her toes and surprise her, will capture her attention in a way that reliability simply cannot. When we look at modern relationships, it's clear that many people are subconsciously addicted to the rush of emotions that unpredictability provides. Stability is important, of course, but it can sometimes lead to complacency, where everything feels too calm, too easy, and too boring. In these situations, a woman can start feeling disconnected or less interested. However, the man who can create emotional contrast, whether it's through playful teasing, spontaneous gestures, or providing an element of surprise, can keep her emotionally engaged. Think of how a new love or a thrilling experience makes you feel. It's this emotional intensity that people often crave. The man who understands this emotional landscape doesn't need to rely on games or manipulation. He simply knows how to balance presence and absence, consistency and unpredictability, in a way that keeps the relationship vibrant and full of life. It's not about making a woman jealous for the sake of drama, but rather about understanding how emotions work. When a woman feels emotionally elevated, whether through laughter, tension, or excitement, her brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical. This dopamine rush can make her feel more attached to you, making the relationship seem more rewarding and engaging. This is where the Stoic life lessons come into play. By practicing emotional control and restraint, a man can ensure that his actions are intentional, allowing the emotional dynamic to build naturally. Instead of relying on predictable patterns, a man who embraces this balance becomes the source of excitement and joy, leaving a lasting impact. In the modern world, it's easy to fall into patterns of stability and routine, but the key to winning Stoic is realizing that life isn't about being overly predictable or safe. It's about understanding when to surprise, when to challenge, and when to create moments of tension that make a woman feel more alive. So ask yourself, are you providing enough emotional contrast in your relationships? Are you keeping her emotionally engaged, or have things become too predictable? Remember, a little bit of mystery and emotional unpredictability can go a long way in keeping her attention and keeping the connection strong. By mastering the art of emotional balance, you don't just keep her hooked, you create a dynamic that is more fulfilling for both of you. Number 10. The submissive trigger. In today's world, where independence is celebrated, it's easy to overlook an important truth. Many women, no matter how strong or self-sufficient they may appear, still long for a man who makes them feel protected and cherished. This isn't about dominance or controlling them. It's about creating an environment where they can feel safe and secure enough to fully embrace their femininity. Think about it. When a man exudes power, not through arrogance but through his actions and calm demeanor, a woman instinctively feels drawn to him. Why is this? Because a man who is confident, who knows where he's going in life, and who has the strength to set healthy boundaries, creates a sense of safety that allows a woman to be vulnerable. And vulnerability, in the right circumstances, is the foundation for deep emotional connection. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. In relationships, this can be applied by understanding that it's not about controlling everything around you. It's about being grounded in your own strength and confidence. When a man embodies these qualities, he naturally provides the security that invites the woman to lean into the relationship, to be open, and to fully embrace her femininity without fear. The ability to lead with strength while still respecting her independence is a balance that many women crave. And when this balance is struck, it triggers an emotional and physical attraction that is hard to ignore. So ask yourself, do you have the Stoic mindset to maintain strength without overbearing control? Can you create a space of safety where she feels both supported and free to express herself? A man who knows his worth, stands firm in his values, and respects boundaries will always activate deeper attraction in a woman. This is not about power over her, it's about creating an environment where both partners can thrive. And that, my friend, is the true essence of Stoic happiness. When you can lead with confidence and protect without control, you are embodying the kind of masculine energy that naturally draws her in. Now that you know what most men don't know, you have to use this knowledge. Be the man who stands out, the man who understands her mind. If you want more insights like this, continue reading. Always be sharp, always be alert, and always be ahead. The woman who secretly attracts you always shows these 6 signs. Attraction isn't just about making the right moves, it's also about not making the wrong moves. And this is where most men go wrong. They think that if they just tried harder, if they were nicer, if they gave more, if they tried harder to please her, they'd win her over. But in reality, some behaviors don't just kill attraction, they destroy it entirely. The worst part? Most men don't even realize they're making these mistakes. They keep wondering why she's losing interest, why she's pulling away, why she's suddenly starting to treat them differently. But by the time they realize it, it's too late. So today we're going to cut through the noise. Here are 3 things you should never do to a woman if you want her respect, her desire, and her true attraction. You must avoid these at all costs. Let's get started. Number 1. Never seek validation from her. Seeking validation is one of the biggest attraction killers, yet most men don't even realize they're doing it. It comes in many forms: needing constant reassurance, asking if she's mad at you, over-explaining yourself, asking for permission to be yourself, or fishing for compliments. All of these are subtle signs of insecurity. For example, asking, "Do you still like me?" might seem innocent, but it signals doubt and a lack of self-assurance. Similarly, over-explaining, like saying, "I just wanted to make sure you didn't misunderstand me," makes it seem as if you're unsure of your own words, while fishing for compliments. "Do you think I'm funny? Am I attractive?" shows that you're seeking her approval instead of simply standing firm in who you are. At its core, seeking validation is a manifestation of insecurity. It's about placing your sense of worth in her hands instead of firmly rooting it in yourself. It's an unhealthy dynamic where your confidence and sense of value are dependent on her reactions or words. And here's the truth: women don't want to be your emotional caretaker. The moment she feels like she's responsible for making you feel good about yourself, the attraction starts to die. As the famous philosopher and author Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us." When you depend on someone else to tell you that you're enough, you strip away the very essence of your own strength and power. She wants a man who already knows his own worth, not someone who is waiting for her to tell him he's enough. Confidence is attractive, and a man who is secure in himself, regardless of her approval, is a man who radiates strength and stability. Seeking validation not only erodes your self-esteem, but also erodes the very dynamic of attraction. Women want to feel inspired by your confidence, not feel like they need to carry your emotional burdens. A man who knows his worth becomes a magnet of respect and attraction because he is not seeking permission to be himself. He's already standing strong in it. As the renowned psychologist Jordan Peterson puts it, you should be a monster, an absolute monster, and then you should learn how to control it. That monster, in this context, is the man who understands his own value without needing anyone else to affirm it. So, how do you stop seeking validation from her? The key lies in detaching from her reaction. If you say something funny, don't look at her to see if she laughed. If you make a decision, don't second-guess it based on her opinion. Stand firm in your choices. This doesn't mean disregarding her perspective entirely, but it means not relying on her approval to validate your actions or decisions. You must learn to trust yourself. This is a lesson in self-sufficiency that makes you more attractive, not less. Being unwavering in your beliefs and decisions is not arrogance, it is confidence. It shows that you are someone who is comfortable in his skin, and doesn't need to seek approval to confirm his worth. Instead of needing her to confirm your worth, turn the tables and give validation to her. Observe her, challenge her, and compliment her in a way that shows you see her depth, not just her beauty. Compliment her on her intelligence, her wit, or her ambitions. When you make her feel seen for more than just her looks, it reinforces the dynamic of mutual respect and understanding. Attraction grows from the acknowledgement of each other's strengths, not just from surface-level validation. The act of showing appreciation without expecting anything in return mirrors the concept of true confidence. It's about being secure enough to value others without needing constant validation. Remember, she's attracted to confidence, not neediness. Confidence isn't about arrogance. It's about being secure in yourself, whether she approves or not. A man who doesn't seek validation is a man who commands respect, and a man who commands respect commands attraction. Confidence is magnetic because it exudes the strength of a person who is at peace with who they are. When you stop seeking approval, you open the door for a deeper connection based on mutual respect, where both parties can stand as equals. In the words of the great philosopher Aristotle, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. When you stop seeking validation, you take control of your own self-worth, and that's the foundation of true attraction. Your confidence will no longer rely on her feedback, but will emanate from within you. Number 2, never put her on a pedestal. In life, a high-value man does not kneel before anyone, not out of arrogance, but out of self-respect. Many men fall into the trap of putting women on pedestals, believing that unwavering devotion will earn them love and admiration. But reality teaches a different lesson. Attraction is not cultivated through worship, but through respect. A Stoic life lesson reminds us that no one, regardless of their status or beauty, should be elevated above our own sense of self-worth. Respect is mutual. It cannot exist if one person constantly subjugates themselves to the other. A woman does not desire a man who idolizes her. She seeks a man who stands as her equal, who challenges her, intrigues her, and carries a purpose beyond merely pleasing her. The moment you prioritize her existence over your own mission, you become disposable in her eyes. Consider the modern professional who tirelessly texts, compliments excessively, and rearranges his entire schedule to accommodate a woman's whims. He believes his devotion will be rewarded, yet over time he notices her pulling away, showing less enthusiasm and treating him with indifference. He does not chase validation, he embodies it. To break free from this cycle, one must embrace the discipline of restraint. Compliments should be earned, not handed out like participation trophies. When a woman acts out of line, call her out, not with cruelty, but with confidence. If she crosses a boundary, assert yourself. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, reminds us that we must control our own minds, not the minds of others. By setting standards and maintaining self-respect, a man commands admiration rather than pleads for it. But let's go deeper. What does this principle reveal about life beyond relationships? It teaches that self-respect must be the foundation of all interactions, whether in business, friendships, or personal pursuits. Those who grovel will always be overlooked. True strength comes from an unwavering sense of self, not from others' approval. Seneca once wrote, "He who is brave is free." This freedom comes from valuing oneself enough to never bow to fleeting desires. So, ask yourself, are you acting out of self-worth or out of fear of loss? Are you investing in your growth, or are you building another's pedestal while standing on sinking ground. The highest form of respect you can offer to anyone, man or woman, is to first respect yourself. Everything else follows. When you're ready to stand strong and live with a strong mindset, like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I choose self-esteem over idolization. Stay connected. More valuable lessons await. Number 3. Never let her control the relationship. A woman will test you, not because she's manipulative or cruel, but because she needs to know who you really are. She will test your patience, your confidence, and your ability to hold your ground. And if you fail, she will lose respect for you. The worst thing you can do as a man is let a woman dictate the direction of the relationship. Relationships are built on mutual respect, but they also require the man to lead with strength and clarity. As Theodore Roosevelt once said, the best executive is the one who has sense enough to pick good men to do what he wants done, and self-restraint to keep from meddling with them while they do it. In the context of relationships, the man who lets the woman control everything lacks that strength and sense of self-restraint. If you are constantly agreeing to everything she wants, you undermine your own sense of authority and the natural flow of the relationship. Many men mistakenly try to impress women with shallow compliments, like, "You're so beautiful," or "I love your vibe," but these rarely create a meaningful connection. Instead, try saying, "I feel like there's a side of you that most people never get to see." This compliment goes beyond surface-level praise and sparks her curiosity. It makes her wonder, what does he see in me that others don't? In that moment, you're no longer just another guy. You're someone who recognizes her depth. Women often feel judged by their appearance, and deep down, they crave to be seen for more than just their looks. This compliment taps into that desire. It shows you appreciate her complexity and not just what meets the eye. As Marcus Aurelius said, the impediment to action advances action. The barriers to true connection, the judgments and stereotypes, can be turned into opportunities to deepen your relationship. By recognizing her hidden qualities, you validate her unique self. When you give a compliment like this, it encourages her to reveal more about herself. Instead of constantly trying to impress her, she'll begin to impress you. This dynamic shift can lead to a deeper, more genuine connection. Timing is key, though. The compliment should come naturally when she shares something personal or unexpected. If it feels authentic, it will resonate deeply with her. In today's world, where appearances dominate, making a woman feel seen beyond the surface is a powerful tool for building real connections. By appreciating her inner world, you not only make her feel special, but also create a bond based on mutual respect and understanding. Remember, true attraction comes from seeing beyond the exterior and recognizing what makes someone truly unique. The way you say this matters. If you just throw it out there with no energy, it won't land. The trick is to act like you're genuinely thinking and let it slip out naturally. For example, if she says something interesting, pause, look at her and say, "You know, there's something about you that I can't quite figure out." Or, if you're out together and she does something unexpected, instead of just reacting, you lean in slightly and say, "You're not like most people I meet, but I can't figure out why." This subtle yet powerful approach creates an air of intrigue, one that makes her wonder and invest in trying to understand why you said what you did. And here's the real trick. Don't explain it right away. Let her wonder. Let her try to prove herself to you. The more you leave unanswered, the more she'll chase that validation. This echoes the wisdom of Leonardo da Vinci, who said, "Art is the queen of all sciences, communicating knowledge to all the generations of the world." When you don't give her all the answers, You allow her to seek knowledge, and in this case, that knowledge is about herself and her attraction to you. Most compliments close the conversation. If you say, "You have beautiful eyes," she'll just say, "Thanks," and that's the end of it. But this opens a loop in her mind. She won't just brush it off. She'll start analyzing your words, replaying them later, wondering what it is that makes her different in your eyes. And the moment she starts thinking about you when you're not around, that's when attraction turns into obsession. The more she wonders about your intentions, the deeper she'll fall. This is how you make a woman feel seen, but not completely understood. Because the second she feels like she's figured you out, the game is over. Use this wisely, because once you drop this line, she'll never see you the same way again. Number 4, I feel like there's a side of you that most people never get to see. When trying to connect with someone on a deeper level, the goal is to move beyond surface-level exchanges and tap into what makes them truly unique. For men aged 30 to 65 who are embracing Stoic life lessons and learning how to cultivate authentic relationships, understanding how to make a woman feel truly seen and valued is crucial. Often, the greatest connections come not from compliments about appearance or superficial traits, but from recognizing the hidden depths that most people never notice. A simple yet profound phrase like, "I feel like there's a side of you that most people never get to see," can be the key to unlocking a deeper emotional bond. It's not just a compliment, it's an invitation for her to reveal more of herself in a way that feels genuine and intimate. Many men make the mistake of trying to impress women with shallow flattery such as, "You're so beautiful," or "I love your vibe." And while these comments might get a polite smile, they rarely create a meaningful emotional connection. But when you tell her, "I feel like there's a side of you that most people never get to see," you're making a statement that speaks directly to her deeper self. And that's where the magic happens. This compliment slips past her defenses and triggers a moment of introspection. She'll wonder, what does he see in me that others don't? In that brief moment, you are no longer just another man in her life. You become the one who notices something unique, something hidden beneath the surface. Women, more than anyone, understand the value of being seen beyond their external appearance. In a world where their looks, attitudes, and social presence are constantly scrutinized, women crave to be recognized for more than just what meets the eye. This is where Stoic life lessons come into play. The magic of this compliment is that it goes beyond praise. It implies an understanding of her complexity. It makes her feel unique and recognized for the hidden qualities she may not always have the chance to showcase. At that moment, she starts to question herself. What is it about me that he sees? What makes me different? This is where attraction deepens and a shift occurs in your dynamic. Instead of you constantly trying to impress her with words or actions, she now wants to impress you. She will unconsciously begin to reveal more of herself to you, trying to prove you right about what you see in her. This is where a Stoic approach can truly enhance your relationships. Like a philosopher embracing his self-discipline and understanding of others, you must learn to read between the lines and engage with someone's true self, rather than just their surface persona. Timing is crucial to making this compliment land. The key is that it must feel genuine, not forced or randomly thrown out. If you simply say it without context, it will likely miss its mark. But if you wait for the right moment, when she shares something personal, when she opens up about her past, or when she does something unexpected, then your compliment will resonate on a deep emotional level. This is your opportunity to connect with her authenticity, and by recognizing this hidden side of her, You foster a sense of trust and intimacy that few people ever experience. As Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, teaches, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. When you encourage a woman to reveal herself and show her that you see beyond the external world's image of her, you make her feel both valued and understood. It's no longer just about the superficial. It's about what lies beneath, the parts of her that are seldom seen, that make her truly unique. In modern life, where people are often trapped in the noise of social media and external expectations, this kind of compliment becomes a powerful tool for establishing genuine, lasting connections. Instead of being just another person giving her praise that she's heard countless times, you become the one who makes her feel truly seen, heard, and appreciated for the things that truly matter. In the end, the key to building strong relationships, both romantic and otherwise, is about truly understanding the other person, valuing them beyond the surface, and respecting the depth of who they are. So, the next time you find yourself in a moment of connection, remember this Stoic approach. Recognize what lies beneath, appreciate what others fail to see, and let her feel the power of being understood. Number 5. You have a way of making everything feel different. This compliment may be subtle, but it holds immense power. Rather than focusing on her physical appearance, like saying, "You're beautiful," or "You have an amazing smile," this compliment highlights the way she makes you feel. It's about her energy, her presence, and the unique way she impacts your life on a deeper level. When you tell her, "You have a way of making everything feel different," you're showing her that it's not just her looks that stand out to you, but how her presence influences your perspective. This compliment moves beyond the surface, acknowledging the emotional and intangible qualities that make her special. Women often feel pressure to conform to societal standards, to meet certain expectations placed on them. But when you express how her energy affects you, it taps into a deeper sense of self-worth, reminding her that her value goes far beyond external appearances. There's something powerful about telling someone that they change the way you see the world. It's subtle, yet it leaves an unforgettable mark. Instead of the usual compliments about beauty or a charming smile, this one digs deeper. It speaks to the way she makes you feel. When you say, "You have a way of making everything feel different, like I see things in a whole new light when I'm around you," you're not just complimenting her, you're recognizing her essence, her presence. In a society where so many women feel the pressure to conform to impossible standards of beauty, this simple yet profound statement does something different. It reassures her that her value extends far beyond the external. It's not about how she looks, it's about who she is and how she influences the world around her. Think about the great relationships in history. Not the ones built on fleeting physical attraction, but those rooted in something deeper. Take John F. Kennedy and Jacqueline Kennedy, for example. While the world admired Jackie for her beauty and elegance, what JFK truly valued was her intellect, her grace under pressure, and her ability to see the world differently. She wasn't just a first lady. She was a force that shaped his perspective. She had a presence that made everything feel different. That's the kind of connection that lasts. Not just admiration, but impact. So why does this compliment work so well? It shifts the focus from the physical to the emotional, showing her that what makes her special isn't just something others can see, it's something they can feel. It makes her feel truly seen, which is one of the most powerful feelings anyone can experience. When you recognize a woman's influence on your life, you're reinforcing that her presence holds weight, that she matters in a way far beyond appearance. And when a woman feels that kind of validation, she naturally feels more connected to you because you've acknowledged something real, something that goes beyond the surface. Now, imagine this. You're sitting across from her at a coffee shop, the conversation flowing effortlessly. She's laughing at something you said, and for a moment you pause, watching the way her energy fills the room. Instead of giving her the same old lines she's heard 100 times before, you lean in slightly and say, "You know, you have a way of making everything feel different, like I see things in a whole new light when I'm around you." That moment of honesty will stay with her far longer than any comment about her eyes or her hair. Why? Because you've acknowledged something intrinsic to her, something that no mirror can reflect, no camera can capture. And that's the essence of true attraction. It's not about what meets the eye, but what moves the soul. So ask yourself, when was the last time you made someone feel truly seen? Because that, more than anything else, is what creates real, lasting connection. Why does this compliment work so well? It shifts the focus from her looks to her energy, showing that the impact she has on you is not based on physical attraction alone. It makes her feel seen for who she is, not just how she looks, which is incredibly validating. When you acknowledge her influence, you're reinforcing that her presence is meaningful and appreciated. It creates a connection based on how you two interact with each other, not just the physical dynamic, making the compliment much more profound and genuine. The next time you're together, whether in a casual moment or during a deep conversation, look at her and say, "You have a way of making everything feel different, like I see things in a whole new light when I'm around you." This statement doesn't just flatter her, it elevates her, making her feel as though her presence truly matters. When a woman feels that her influence is meaningful, she experiences a deeper connection with you. It's this kind of emotional resonance, rooted in a genuine acknowledgement of who she is beyond the surface, that sparks true attraction and builds lasting rapport. Comment below, "I value depth over appearance. Let's keep growing together." More powerful insights are on the way. Number 6. I can't decide if you're trouble or exactly what I need. This compliment is a psychological game changer in the best way possible. Unlike the typical compliments that put women on a pedestal, like "You're amazing," "I love your energy," or "You're the most beautiful girl I've ever met," which place all the power in her hands, this one flips the script entirely. Instead of immediately falling for her, you subtly show emotional distance, which creates a shift in the power dynamic. By telling her, "I can't decide if you're trouble or exactly what I need," you create a sense of intrigue and mystery. It's not about worshipping her, it's about making her question whether she's a challenge for you or the perfect match. And when she starts questioning herself, she's already hooked, seeking to figure out where she stands in your world. The brilliance of this compliment lies in how it makes her feel both intrigued and slightly challenged, making her want to win you over. It's a psychological push-pull dynamic where she feels a sense of power, but only if she can prove herself worthy of your attention. Why does this work? It sparks her curiosity. When you express that uncertainty, she wonders what it means. What makes you think she's trouble, and what makes you think she could be exactly what you need? This uncertainty creates a tension that draws her in, because women love to feel like they have some form of control over a man, but only when it's a challenge. The challenge is what makes it exciting, and that's where the attraction deepens. When you present her as someone who could be trouble, but in a way that excites rather than repels, you're subtly telling her that she's not just another woman, but someone who can keep you on your toes. The moment you express this uncertainty, the power dynamic shifts. She'll become eager to prove herself to you, to show that she's exactly what you need. Here's how to say it. If she's done something bold, unexpected, or intriguing, take a moment to pause and with a slight smirk say, "I can't decide if you're trouble or if you're exactly what I need." Timing is key here, as the compliment works best when delivered in the right moment, perhaps when she's surprised you or challenged your expectations. When said correctly, this compliment will keep her on her toes, turning casual attraction into something more intense. It will create a lingering dynamic that stays with her long after the conversation ends, keeping you in her mind constantly. The beauty of this approach is that it shifts the narrative, making her invest emotionally while also allowing her to feel like she needs to prove her worth to you. Now that you've unlocked these powerful insights, it's time to take action. The difference between men who succeed in relationships and those who struggle isn't luck, it's understanding. A true high-value man doesn't chase validation, doesn't place anyone above himself, and always keeps control over his emotions and his life. If you want to keep sharpening your mindset, developing your inner strength, and learning the deep psychological triggers that most men miss, then stay connected. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the lessons that will set you apart from the rest. Let's keep pushing forward, embracing the Stoic mindset, and becoming the kind of men who lead, who attract, and who command respect in every area of life. See you in the next video. Stay sharp, stay disciplined, and always be ahead.